Welcome to the Food for Thought Faithcast. Clear your minds, clear your hearts. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. We thank you for tuning in today, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hey guys, it's B-Rob, and it is the Food for Thought Faithcast. I hope you enjoyed the Re-Bless from 25 episode yesterday. You got some play, so I think you guys did. And we'll do that periodically. Sometimes I have to do things like study, and I don't have time to do the podcast. But we'll definitely do stuff like that periodically. Well, guys, it's Saturday. It's February the 14th. It's the second day of the pagan Lupercalia satanic tradition festival. And today we call it Valentine's Day. It's actually my anniversary. It's my 27th anniversary. How about that, guys? And the wedding was born in 1999. We got married in 1999, so the marriage was born in 1999. You remember 1999 was that crazy year of Y2K, just something else for them to see if we're still obeying and paying attention. Obviously, we were, because we fell sink, line, hooker, and that. As a society, we just rolled up in there like ants. We thought the world was going to come to an end because that's all they talked about. But anyway, let's get back to Valentine's Day. I like to do crazy podcasts which teach today's Christians about the actual origin of the holidays that we traditionally partake in, and the Bible makes it clear we shouldn't. But I've obviously been guilty of it my whole marriage, because I did on Valentine's Day because I'm bad with dates, or I was bad with dates when I got married. But then I became great with dates and numbers. So, all that. I was a kid when I got married, so 23 years old. But, guys, the Valentine's Day celebration, otherwise known as Lupercalia, I actually did a little research. So it's pre-Christian Rome. That was the origin. Apparently near Lupercal Cave, where Romulus and Remus were said to be nursed by a she-wolf. A she-wolf. That's some old folklore type stuff, right? You notice everything they call folklore is starting to begin, like, we're starting to find out that it's not really folklore. It's biblical. And what I mean by that is, if you go back and listen to some of the First Man of God podcast, I talk about how bad the earth was and how it needed to be cleansed. Well, all that stuff started back then, and then rolled up into Rome. And you see, they're honoring different pagan Roman gods, and they're not honoring the one true God. And it makes it clear in the Bible. If you read my book, Discernment, many scripture in there make it clear. And I'll pull that out in a second. But the gods they honor during this festival is Faunus, which is a Roman god of fertility, agriculture, nature, It's also linked to Lupercus, which is a protector against wolves. So apparently they had rituals which involved animal sacrifice. So the story says, but I bet you there's a lot more than just animal sacrifice. Goats and a dog. And then a young priest called Lupercalia would cut strips from the goat hide, run through the city, striking people, especially women. And apparently it was believed to promote fertility, ease childbirth, and purify the city. Right. Okay, yeah. We'll get into that in just a second, so hold that thought. So that's what they tell you. But they also told you that abortion was healthcare as well. You see, the enemy is a master of deception. And Christians were deceived. But I don't know if you guys know this. We didn't get the term Christian until after Christ had ascended. So, like, Jesus wasn't considered a Christian. Christianity was made up by people who weren't Christians that observed Christ followers. In the days of Paul. And I hope I said that right. I don't have a theology degree, but I spent a lot of years studying and doing research. And I can only tell you what I've found. And I think I said that right. But anyway, apparently the connection to Valentine's Day is Lupercalia is a pagan precursor to Valentine's Day, is what they tell you. Apparently, as Christianity spread, the church discouraged pagan festivals. See, they say discouraged, but from my knowledge, kind of like the Pilgrims when they first came to America, they banned it. Like, they banned it because the Bible stated clearly against it. And that's where the Jewish people went wrong so many different times in the Old Testament. They worshiped other gods. They wanted kings. There's a lot of symbolic things going on here. It says the church discouraged pagan festivals, i.e. The wording in this stuff is amazing. But I'm sure it was funded by the very same people who celebrate the Satanic holiday or published a book. I mean, there's a lot of things going on that guys have to take into consideration. You can't just run with something and say it's the gospel. You got to research the author. You got to research where he came from. I mean, there's a whole lot of things there. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject. Let's get back to the subject. So St. Valentine's feast day is obviously February 14th is what we celebrate, and we call it Love Day or Cupid. I mean, it's amazing how everything is twisted in our society, and eventually that falls like Babylon, which we're seeing. So I looked up the actual definition of Lupercalia, and apparently it's an ancient Roman fertility and purification festival celebrated in mid-February, which is obviously the 14th or the 13th to the 16th. So then I dug a little deeper on how that was replaced with Valentine's Day. So they're saying there was a conflict with Christian beliefs. The Lupercalia involved pagan gods, which is it's a no-no in the Bible, Animal sacrifice, which is a no-no. In the New Testament, we don't do that no more. Ritualized sexuality. There you go. There you go. Perversion. Boom. And fertility rites. Guess what? You don't have rights. God has all the rights. God gives you child when he wants you to have a child because he is the only one living God. You see? And I'm not going to start preaching about that. We're talking about Valentine's Day. And I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind or the forefront of your heart. You see, apparently these practices directly conflicted with Christian theology, you think, which rejected pagan worship and sacrificial rituals. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that anymore. So the church leaders viewed it as indecent, superstitious, and spiritually harmful. So around the 4th, 5th centuries, I would say around the Constantine, if I had to guess, I'm still doing research on this. I just haven't had time to do a lot, so I'm going to give you what I got. Because I'm still studying to take my exam for insurance in the state of Georgia. So, apparently, 4th, 5th century Christian leaders were actively trying to reshape public morality around chastity, marriage, and spiritual purity rather than ritual fertility. You see what it says? Actively trying to reshape. So it makes Christians look like they don't have any authority. When you have all the authority, when you have the authority of the Almighty living God, the one God, Yahweh. So you see how they word it. As Christianity became official religion of Roman Empire, eliminating pagan festivals helped. They didn't eliminate anything. They put a veil over it and fed it to you in a spoon, repackaged, rebranded. You need to know this. Even though your history books aren't going to tell you this, you need to know these things. It was supposedly to unify society under Christian norms. So Valentine's Day. Let me ask you something. Where in the Bible is Valentine's Day? So how is that a Christian norm? Okay, let me stop on my rant. It was to reduce the influence of the older Roman religious traditions, although it's painted all over everywhere. And they call it folklore or mythology. Yeah, mythology. Right. Assert church authority over public life. Yeah. So apparently in 494 AD, Pope Gelasius formally condemned Lupercalia, criticized Roman elites for clinging to the pagan rituals. The festival was discouraged and eventually stopped. But did it stop? They gave up 3 days for one, and it's still the same thing. You follow what I'm saying? So what they did is they took Lupercalia. They promoted Christian feast days around it. They elevated the feast of Saint Valentine and made it Valentine's Day. And instead of the feast, we do the poison now with the candy and the sugar. And we feed the diabetes, which feeds the big pharma, which is pharmakia, which is a satanic spell that the population is under. Ooh, man, I just went deep on y'all. Lord have mercy. I'm like swimming down here under the sharks. I'm down here with the shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Anyway, the The approach conversion was made easier because it kept family calendar rhythms. Wow. Man, bro, the stuff in the toilet after you sit on it is getting deep up in here when I'm reading this stuff. And they put this stuff for you to read out, man. That's crazy. So, basically redirecting culture and meaning towards Christian values. So what they used to have was a big 3-day festival where everybody went wild, and it probably orgies, sex, everything, sacrifice. Your perfect Satan. The same thing they do underground or wherever they do it nowadays, right? The big ritual. Kind of like in the movie Eyes Wide Shut. If you have not seen that and you're an adult, you need to go watch that, because that's not mythology. That is factual. And the actual man who made the movie died. Stanley Kubrick died like 2 weeks before the release because he would not cut out things they wanted him to cut out. So see, they want you to see it, because once you see it and once you pay to see it, you're an accomplice to it. So pay attention, Christians. Or pay attention, my brothers, children of God, brothers and sisters. So the themes for the original festival was fertility, physical, we just got into that. So it was replaced. It says it was replaced. It was rebranded, repackaged, and spoon-fed to you as spiritual love, moral devotion, Christian saints, holiness, and charity. Yeah, I'm going to just give my love away freely. Yeah. What's it called when you have sex before you make the commitment to God with that person? In marriage? What's it called? Fornication? Yeah. Like I said, rebranded, repackaged, and spoon-fed to you with a big bow on it. Yep, with a big bow on it. That's crazy, isn't it? All right, let's get into the of course, they're going to tell you right here there's no evidence that Valentine's Day was created specifically to replace Lupercalia. Okay. 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah, they trying to tell you that 1 + 1 don't equal 2 right there. That's how they put doubt in your head. That's how they make you be a hipster and you think you know it all and have great coffee talk because you read, you read some encyclopedias and you read some published stuff. Well, guess what? The best information is from the non-published stuff, and we're going to read that right now. Found some of these clips out on the interwebs, and this one's crazy. Prince of Darkness is fascinating and bewitching the people's visions and minds with sensuality of the underworld. Remember we talked about that orgy, that sexual, that lust, everything that love is not. They twisted love, okay? So basically they possess these women with almost like a Jezebel spirit. At the time, they're evil sex spells. They're like leases on sexual wickedness among men. And it apparently continues until the final deceiver arrives on the scene, which would be the evil one. Man, this is crazy. So apparently the month of February, due to natural activities and events, is regarded as the month of love by most people because February happens to be when the earth is most fertile. I did not know that. Ooh. The time when farmers get ready for lambing and chick season. Makes sense now. Time when plants and flowers are ready to shoot up. Yeah, it got up to the 80s the other day. This is making sense. See how the unpublished stuff makes a lot more sense than the published stuff. It's funny how that works, you know. Like I say, conspiracy theorists are winning 17-0. There's no such thing as a conspiracy theory or a coincidence. It's just God showing up anonymously. My friend Nikita Koloff shared that with me, and I thought it was great. But apparently, the annual festival of purification was held on February 15th as Februatio, and is commonly known as Lupercalia, and celebrated in honor of 3 Roman pagan deities. Here we go. Lupercus, the god of fertility, Juno, the goddess of marriage and women, and Pan, the god of nature. So not only are we, worshiping one, we're worshiping 3. Lupercalia is an annual ritual festival celebrated in belief to ward off evil spirits and increase fertility among the people. Has nothing to do with God, though, the one living God. So they're playing God down there, and they're worshiping false idols once again. And this is post-Christian Rome, or pre-Christian Rome. And then we changed it to Valentine's Day because I guess we thought it'd be cool. I don't know. But apparently it began with sacrifices, dogs, purification of the land. Goats were a sacrifice for fertility. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're telling you. Just like the history, published stuff. The animal's blood was smeared on the priest's forehead, and afterwards the blood wiped away from the priest's forehead and wool soaked in milk. Here we go. Men ran naked around the cities with strips of sacrificed animal skin, making women the blood as marking women with the blood as a symbol of fertility. Yeah, man, that's some crazy stuff, ain't it? That is crazy stuff. You see, we changed it to Valentine's Day, and it's supposed to be, apparently it comes from a romantic priest. A romantic priest? What? Huh? I might have to hit the vape on that one. Lord have mercy. A romantic priest whose conduct made him a saint that helped to start Valentine's Day celebration and write-ups of Saint Valentine are stories without real facts or evidence. Yeah, man. The red, white, and pink colors used as Valentine's Day symbols are connected to the Lupercalia ritual. Imagine that. And I bet it ain't animals they was sacrificing. They sacrificed kids back in them days. Kind of like what you're finding out still going on. Just saying. And then it goes on to say, should true believers celebrate February festival? No, absolutely not. 1 Corinthians 6, the real genuine love is God. 1 John. And those who have love, which is the love of God, are known as the keepers of God's commandments. The commandments of God give guidelines on how to have a joyful and blessed love. And that's in John chapter 14. A Lupercalia and Valentine's Day celebration are said to be an opportunity to give gifts of love to loved ones around the world. But you see, the only gift of love is that greatest sacrifice. I mean, that's the love, not none of this stuff where God gave the spotted lamb, his son. That's the greatest love. That's the gift of salvation. That is the gift of love. You see, we got to stay grounded. And I don't mean grounded in this world. I mean grounded in the Bible. The whole Cupid thing. Cupid is another symbol of Valentine's Day, the Greek and Roman god of love. So they made up a fairy tale like Mickey Mouse and called it Cupid. But you see, what you guys don't know, despite the innocent appearance as a chubby winged cherub, which is in the Bible, not the chubby part, but a winged cherub with bow and arrows shooting people to make them fall in love. So it's really just an illusion, and it's deception, because it's actually a demon of lust. And it tries to cause sexual immorality, unholy unions, and chaos. You remember in 2 Corinthians 11, verse 14, it specifically says the devil masquerades around as an angel of light. Like literally, it's in your face all year long. In your traditions, in this cursed society. And he has many of minions. Because in order to deceive those people that are not led by the Holy Spirit and are not vigilant and are not using discernment, this is what has to happen. You see, Cupid is the Latin name for the Greek god Eros. And that god is a god of sexual desire. You see, love was never meant to be perverted. The marriage bed was never meant to be defiled. But we are a perverted society and a perverted generation. You cannot turn the TV on and watch a show that is not perverted. No wholesome shows. There's a couple. I watched the first episode of the JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette story. Is called Love Story on FX last night. It was really good, but there were a couple parts that I just didn't care to see. Trying to be a man of God. But it was a decent show. Other than that, it was good. But it's sexual immorality is in everything. Music, internet, ads, commercials, TV, everything. So like I said, Cupid is the Latin name for the Greek god Eros, the god of sexual desire, whose name we derive from our modern word erotic. There's so much marketed around perversion and sexuality and eroticism. Eros is depicted in the 8th century by a poet named Hesiod, who characterizes Eros as a primeval deity, one of the very first to emerge from chaos. So you see, it's based on tricks, mischievous, and matchmaking in those things, which is often directed by his mother, who is an Aphrodite, Venus, the goddess of love. You see, this worship is still going on today. Aphrodite. Look it up. In fact, I'm going to look it up. Hold on just a second. Give me just a second. We having fun today. Give me just a second. I'm a lot more animated that I don't drink or smoke cigarettes anymore. I have a lot more energy. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, Aphrodite, ancient Greek goddess of love, beauty, desire, fertility. Yeah. More of the same crap. It's all based around perversion and sexuality. Apparently, Cupid shot Zeus with one of his arrows and caused him to commit adultery. So the folklore goes. Man. A Roman writer, Lucius Apuleius, describes Cupid as a winged Cupid, rash and hardy, who is by his evil manners condemning all public justice and law, armed with fire and arrows, running up and down in the nights from the house to house, and corrupting lawful marriages of every person. He doth nothing but evil. Kind of writing in the old version. It says, don't be struck down by one of Cupid's arrows today, causing you to fall for another decoy, causing you to backslide into fornication, adultery, and homosexuality, tempting you to get pregnant out of wedlock. Like so many others will fall. You see, the evil one and his minions, they ain't on no clock. They work 24/7. So you got to put on the armor of God. You got to put on the armor of God and guard your heart, guys. There's only one true God, and He loves you. I love you. And I honestly hope you don't partake in this satanic ritual. You see, what a lot of people don't realize is they got together and they changed this. And they just put a veil over what they were doing. It's still a ritual. Magic is real. Spells are real. It's in the Bible. If you don't know where to go to look for it, I can show it to you. Guys, I love you. I hope you have a great day. God loves you, and if you do not have a relationship with Jesus, you better get right. And guys, remember, visit the website www.unmasking www.forchristministry.com. And go to Amazon and grab you a copy of the book, Discernment, a wake-up call for a generationally cursed society. Also, if you want a Bible verse on a shirt or any custom shirt, I can do that as well. Guys, check out the website. Send me a message through there. I love you guys. God bless you. Hashtag get right. Hey guys, it's B-Rob. We want to thank you once again for tuning in to the Food for Thought Faithcast. We could not do this without you guys listening and tuning in. Guys, if you ever want to pray with me, for me, talk to me, or simply be a guest on the podcast, give me a call or text 706-691-1043. Once again, my name is B-Rob. God bless you. And on a serious tip, we cannot do this without you guys. So if you would love to send a gift, $1, $5, whatever the donation amount may be, we cannot do this without you guys. We want to continue to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ around the world. Thank you guys, and God bless.